going to be a good day. We're going to talk about this God guy. And so I want to show you a slide. And on that slide, you're going to have an idea. And that idea is really an expression. It's only words. And I'm getting that slide up right this moment. So I want you to look at that. And I want you to really start to look at it very slowly and very clearly. God is not a person, but God is a presence personified in us. Spirituality is not a thing. It is an atmosphere of God's presence. So we're going to try to get that. We're going to try to really dig deep into that. What is this atmosphere of God's presence? It's who you are. It's the acceptance of the perfection of life through you. Now, I want you to imagine that there is going to be a camera on you, or there was a camera on you for the last 3 days. And this camera recorded every thought you thought, every word you spoke, every action you were involved in, every way you interacted with a person. And that camera, now you're sitting down and you're in a state where you're non-judgment, but you're in a state and you are going to discern, is the person that is on this camera the last 3 days, is that the presence of the divine? The answer is yes. Because that presence is your personification of the divine. And when you personify the divine through your thoughts, your words, and your actions, you have an experience that comes to you that mirrors that back to you. Ooh, that's a good one. It's like people will come to me and they'll say, Lee, I don't say a lot of things because I understand that what I say creates a mental atmosphere. But you know, I just have some thoughts. I have some thoughts that person over there, they're a bitch. That person over there, they're a bastard. And I'm saying, and I quietly, with all the love in my heart, I'm not quiet about it. Who am I kidding? I'm right there in your face, and I say it like this. This presence and power that is the law hears it. And it brings it into you, and it creates an atmosphere that personifies your experience as a divine, because the divine doesn't care how you express. The divine just takes what you put in it and gives it back. Don't you wish you had parents like that? Think about that. If you had parents like that, Mom, Dad, give me this, and they just give it to you. But do we have parents like that? I sure didn't. The only time I got it is if I did something my parents wanted. And then I'd still might get the big no. Because we aren't taught to be unconditional. We aren't taught to be accepting. We're not taught to be loving. We're taught that we must fit in a box, we must fit in rules. Now let me ask the question. If we're fitting in a box and we're in rules, how is that the personification of the divine? How is it we're building our unique mental atmosphere which draws to us our unique expression and experience? I had to really try to embody this at a deeper level as we built the spiritual community. Because everyone in this community is a rebel. Everyone in this community is unique. Now, when you're working together with a group of people, whether it's practitioners, whether you're working together with board members, you have to remember, they're not going to be molded the way you want them to be molded. You have to accept them where they are, and you have to find a way to dance together. A way that you dance together is you have to accept that they may do different steps than you do while you're doing the same dance. Can that be done? Yes. Does it require work? No, it doesn't require work. It requires focus. It requires commitment. It requires being able to sit and say, this is my highest expression. I want to be accepted as that highest expression. In order for me to be accepted as that highest expression, I must allow others to express, and I must accept them in their highest expression. For if I don't accept them, I can't accept myself. You see, it's never a one-sided thing. This is where we get fooled. I can accept Lee. It's okay if I don't accept Jean. You know, Jean has a lot of work to do. She's not at the same level of consciousness that I am. She's a slacker. She doesn't do the work. She doesn't do the prescribed meditation. She doesn't pray the way I pray. She doesn't do the number of affirmations. She doesn't read the same books. How could I possibly accept her? Am I in judgment? Am I up-leveling my spiritual awareness? I'm taking it right down, aren't I? Because that's pure, simple ego. And ego is what? Edging God out? See, when we're so focused on ourselves and this, I guess the best way to say it is if I'm so focused on Lee, but I don't care about anyone else, then that's narcissism. And that's sometimes we get accused of that in religious science because we talk about self-love all the time. Well, here's the key. You cannot self-love without loving others the same way. You see, and when you can self-love, and you can sit there and you can worship, worship means to see the divine in. So I'm not going to say it's better than. I'm saying to see the divine in every cell of my body, I see, sense, and know the divine. I know that every thought that I think, I'm building a mental atmosphere, and I'm building a divine atmosphere which creates for me. I see that my actions are driven by love and gratitude. I'm able to see the perfection of my life. And in order to do that, I have to see the perfection in every person I come in contact with. Every person I look at, I've got to see the same thing. Because if I can't see it in them, I can't see it in myself. If I'm judging them underneath in my subconscious mind, I'm judging me. See, this is the real critical thing. We wouldn't be judging someone else if we weren't already judging ourselves. And that judgment is in that subjective nature, the subconscious nature of our mind, and we have become so thoroughly numbed by it. We think that the only thing that we're thinking is what we're consciously being aware of. Well, you know what? That's only maybe 5% of what we think. 95% of what we think is in that subconscious, that subjective mind. We don't even know what's going on. It's like I was sharing with you earlier. Yesterday, I woke up and I had this funk feeling. And I'm saying, wait a second, all my conscious thoughts were in alignment. All my conscious thoughts were about having the great day. Everything was in alignment. Everything was perfect. Why does this funk atmosphere about me? And I said, I don't know, but I know it must be in my subconscious mind because it's prevalent. I felt it in every cell of my body. I felt it in what I wanted, what I was thinking. I felt it and it wasn't what I was thinking. It was how I was thinking what I was thinking. Does that make sense? You could be thinking a really good thought, but when you're thinking that really good thought, you may have an atmosphere of, let me stick a knife in someone. You know what I mean? Because you have to align. I think Ernest Holmes said this so perfectly when he said, the pure idea of demonstration of a spiritual mind treatment is that you must align your thoughts, your words, and the feelings. You have to bring in, and so when we build a belief, the belief is not the words, the actions alone, and the thoughts. It's having a feeling nature where they so intertwined, and that feeling it's in alignment. And in that alignment, you don't have this discord that I was feeling yesterday. And so the only thing I knew to do was to meditate. Because I tried doing affirmations, and as I was doing the affirmations, oh, who are you friggin' kidding? Who are you kidding? This ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. This ain't going to work. It was at that moment I knew I needed to reboot. You know, when that computer's got a funk on, it's time to reboot it. It was interesting. I couldn't get on. I was trying to do some banking for my father. And I was on Google Plus. And so I was connecting to the two banks I needed to do to move some money around, yada, yada. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. I called up the help desk at both banks. They couldn't help me. And I thought about it and thought about it. Maybe if I use a different browser, it'll work. So I closed Google down, and I went into Safari. Went into Safari, worked like perfect. See, you had to come out of the state of consciousness you were in into a new state of consciousness that didn't have the bugs in it. That's what meditation does for us. Meditation allows us to be in an energy and know that that energy is not working for where we want to be. And so in the meditation, we pause, and all of a sudden, the consciousness shifts, it shifts, it shifts, it shifts, it moves. We come out of the state of meditation, and we start living again. We're in a completely different state. It's a spiritual reboot. You see, it's the whole idea that we come back to. We've got to embody, if God is not a person, then I am not the person. Does that make sense? So many times when we start focusing on new thought and the powers within us, we want to say that I am the man or I am the woman. And when we have that thought, are we causing separation with the people that are around us? Are we building a platform that we stand upon and we cause ourselves to be separated from others? You can say, I am a man, and I am one hell of a unique one. See, that's cool. I am a woman, and I am so unique. Everyone wants to be with me. See, there's nothing wrong with that, because you can say when you are you're leaving room for everyone else to be the same. But when you say I am you are separating yourself and you're making yourself. It's almost like you're anthropomorphizing yourself. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes what we find is, instead of anthropomorphizing God, in other words, giving God human qualities, we anthropomorphize ourselves and give ourselves God qualities, but we forget to understand that everyone is the same. So while we talk about this, we go really back to basics. There's an infinite intelligence that surrounds us. We call it one mind, infinite mind, divine mind. And that divine mind created everything out of it, and it created each of us out of it. And when we created each of us out of it, we are that mind. We are all of us are expressions of the divine. We just forget that. But you see, the key word there is we are all expressions of the divine. But how we have personified our relationship to us gives us a whole different experience. So if you were over in Syria and Iraq, and you were personifying yourself as ISIS, you're going to have an experience. The law is going to give you the same law that works for us is going to give them an experience, because that's how they're choosing to personify it. Not the best choice. Let me say, I don't want to put it, not a choice I'm going to make from my human platform. Does that make sense? Because in the divine, there's no such thing as death. Death is non-existent. The divine is infinite. Nothing dies in the divine. The essence of who you are, your soul essence, does not die. It does not change. It is always infinite. It is always perfect. It is the attachment to our body, attachment to the human mind that causes us all the pain. It covers us all the suffering. So we have to detach from that in order to really understand our personification and understand that we're creating an atmosphere. People want to say, I'm so spiritual. What does that mean? Everyone's spiritual. The question is the atmosphere you're creating self-chosen? Is the atmosphere you're creating about love? Is the atmosphere you're creating about being in gratitude? Is the atmosphere you're creating about being in peace and oneness with others? Understanding that regardless of how you focus on that, you will have that experience to a large degree. but you will always have contrast. I want to really make that clear so you can hop on the peace train, but know that along the way the peace train's going to stop. And you're going to get off that peace train. And when you get off that peace train, you're going to get contrast, because contrast is a requirement of spiritual evolution. You cannot evolve your atmosphere without contrast. Does that make sense? I mean, that atmosphere is there. So if I'm a realtor and I'm selling a house, there are some deals that are just so easy and great. I mean, the perfect house, I list this perfect house. It's a big value house. The client comes that very day, makes an offer bigger than it. They've got cash for it. The whole deal closes in 2 weeks. You got the money in the bank. You're happy as can be. And then the next one comes along. And 4 months later, you're still working on it. Or maybe 3 months later, the deal falls through. It's just contrast. But we get so attached that everything has to work out in our human way that we don't look beyond and say, what is the lesson that I can get to understand? How can I apply and create a different mental atmosphere, and through the creation of that mental atmosphere, have a different experience next time? See, that's the beauty. When we understand that the divine personifies itself as us, when we understand that every thought, word, and action we do creates a mental atmosphere, when we embody that and we remember that there's a camera. It's the divine camera. It's your own camera. It's not God's camera out there focusing on you. It is your own camera. And it's recording everything you think, do, and say. Everything you think, do, and say. It knows how many times yesterday you picked your nose. Nothing wrong with picking your nose. The only thing I can say about that is you can pick your nose, you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friend's nose. That's the only thing I'm going to say about that. But you're also serious out there. Chill out. I just used a 6th grade joke on you. I decided to be clean. Oh, wait, that wasn't clean, was it? I joke about this because a lot of times I witness people when they go on the spiritual path, they take it too damn serious. You're supposed to have fun when you do this. It's supposed to be laughter. It's supposed to be joy. You can have a ball as you're creating your mental atmosphere. You can have a tremendous thing. You can make it a game. Why not make it a game? Why not make it fun? Why not banter about it? Why not play jokes on each other? Why not do that? But here's the thing that the camera the camera that's focusing on you when you're doing it knows your intention. And you see, the intention behind everything is the real meaning that the law, the atmosphere is taking, and that's what's creating. And the key thing is when someone's coming at you and they're speaking their words at you, you got to make sure you understand their intention. You've got to make sure you understand what they value, because chances are, most of the time, they value something different than you value. And when they say something to you, you're interpreting it through your values, and you're having a total misinterpretation of the intention of it, and you'll fly off the handle at them. You'll create this whole big brouhaha, all of this work, and all of it was totally unnecessary. It's acceptance. It's thoroughly about acceptance. I use the word acceptance as a substitute now for the meaning of love. If I accept Lee as I am, I'm loving Lee. If I accept Beverly as she is, I'm loving her. If I accept Bob as he is, I'm loving Bob. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Put both feet on the ground. And when I speak, let my words be your words. I know there is a power and a presence that surrounds me. It is infinite. It is all-knowing. It is all-powerful. It has always been and always will be. I embody that I am an expression of the infinite nature of divine mind. Not only do I embody that I am an expression of divine mind, but I embody that each person I meet, that each person in this room, that each person in the world is an embodiment of divine mind. And I see that within this infinite mind, that there is peace and harmony, because there is an unwritten, unknown, undeclared law that holds everything in perfect balance. I embrace the idea, and I start by looking and seeing that my thoughts are in perfect divine order. My words are in divine order. My actions are in divine order. My feelings are in divine order. Every cell in my body is the consciousness of the infinite in divine order. Every word I speak into the world ripples out like on a lake and has an impact on the entire consciousness of humanity, and it is in divine order. I realize not only that I am, but that I am worthy. I am worthy simply because I am. I embrace this feeling, allow it to penetrate every aspect of my beingness, and I feel the infinite nature of divine love holding, embodying, supporting. I have become one. I have always been one. I've simply returned home. It is good. And I bask in that feeling. And I smile. And I am grateful. It is so good. My heart is open. I feel the presence. I am alive. It is now. It is good. I am grateful. And together we say, so it is. I want to thank you for joining us today. I am so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask you to go to our website. Once there, click on the Contribute button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to the world. I would also ask you to please share this message with anyone you feel might benefit. Again, I want to thank you for joining me and the Agape community as together we bring joy to life.